Welcome to Dice with Death, where anyone could die at the roll of a dice. I'm your Direct Messenger Oli Bateman. Joining me again for this week's performative Dungeons & Dragons podcast is Chatty Badger's Jamie Powis.
My character still can't fly, but I'm not a moaner because I wrestled a guy with a giant boner. I'm Aark.
You are correct in the fact that there was a man with a fully erect penis that is now canon. I hope all of you have gone this route about the erect penis, but...
Last time it was all about my dead mum, and now it's all about a boner. We have no class.
And if you're wondering who that voice is, I'm also joined by IGN's Amy Mallett.
I am Zakaiya Rebeldusk, and last time we hid from Planeswalker in a lift. When we escaped, he was pretty miffed. Aark and Titus' bromance was so investing that I'm still not sure I understand wrestling. With my new companions, I'm no longer a loner, and I'm so glad that the canon was boner. Because I don't think of anything's wrong with canon.
I'm also joined by WhatCulture.com's Adam Wilbourn.
The name's Titus, and these are my dice. Last time, Aark and I killed an erect man with a doomsday device. I want to be remembered, a bit like a hieroglyph. My friends and I just jumped off a cliff. Did we die from the fall, or are we just quite sore? Let's find out what Ollie has in store.
Oh,
Lovely.
that was the best one to end on for sure.
Yeah.
Can I just say really quickly as well, I did have an alternative rhyme in case someone mentioned boner, where I would rhyme iffy with stiffy. Just so you know.
Are you ready to continue the adventure?
Yep.
Yeah.
Previously on Dice with Death, Aark, Zakaiya and Titus faced the weapon known as Planewalker in the basement of a secret solar naval facility as the timer on the Trojan horse bomb ticked down. Opting to run, you all made it into the elevator after Titus took the impact of one of Planewalker's massive strikes. Zakaiya quickly healed Titus with a potion and you ascended the facility in a freight elevator littered with crates and engine parts. Titus took cover, Aark stood in front of the doors, and Zakaiya did a solid snake and hid in an upturned crate. The doors opened out onto a gymnasium where the once bodyguard of the captain of the guard stood in a wrestling ring in an exoskeleton, emanating brilliant blue arcane light while his minor guards kept their weapons drawn towards Aark. Aark distracted the guards while Titus snuck up behind them and double bulldogged their heads into the ground, knocking them out cold and accepting the bodyguard's challenge to an impromptu wrestling match. Zakaiya tried to be a sneaky solid snake by creeping into the gymnasium underneath the wooden crate, but wasn't strong enough to lift it cleanly off the floor, making the most amount of noise possible, scraping the rusty nails in the crate along the ground while a now awake minor guard golf clapped the proceedings. After trading blows and pulling the bodyguard into the corner of the ring, Titus climbed the turnbuckle and crushed the bodyguard's ribcage with a massive elbow drop. Aark, like a confused dad trying to help his newly adopted son, tried to pin the bodyguard, even though there was no referee for miles around. The bodyguard then threw Aark across the ring while revealing to you all that he was now, and canonically, fully erect. Titus then set up a move known as the Doomsday Device, where he hoisted the bodyguard in the sitting position on his shoulders while Aark launched at his torso with his talons, tearing him fatally into pieces. Having finally gotten herself out of the wooden crate now, Zakaiya dashed to the ventilation shaft cover to try to open up the party's escape route. Just then, Planewalker arrived on the 13th floor of the freight elevator and headed straight for the wrestling ring. Titus broke down the air vent cover and threw Aark into the vent to meet Zakaiya as she smashed open the last remaining barrier, which hung over a 1,000-foot drop into the Ceraclean Ocean. As the party looked down the cliff face, Titus heard the voice of his one true love Zalo, clear as day, tell him to jump. As Titus grabbed Aark and Zakaiya and took the leap of faith, the bomb in the basement exploded with force and flames throughout the whole facility and pushed Planewalker clean through the viewing glass of the gymnasium, and as the party fell through the sky, as well as the arcane energy erupting from Planewalker towards the ocean at terminal velocity, they faced the image of the god of death himself, Shinigami. The waves suddenly shifted from a portrait of death to something entirely different, which broke the surface of the water and headed straight towards you all. And that's where we are now. The face of the god of death, Shinigami, dissolves from the surface of the waves, and something bursts from the deep, charging upwards out of the water, directly towards your falling bodies. Hey, not today, guys!
Hey!
Squiddy!
The giant octopus known as Squiddy breaches the surface in an orangey-black ink cloud and throws his outstretched tentacles towards you all. I've got really good dexterity and strength, so here goes. Nat 20.
Hey! You don't fuck with Squiddy.
Squiddy grabs you all out of the sky in separate tentacles like your candy falling from a piñata and saves you all from certain death. Hey, I caught you all. Yay!
Thanks, Squiddy. How did you know we were here?
Oh, well, you know when I saw you in the room where we set off the harpoon and that?
Well, we released the shark, Squiddy.
Yeah,
You know,
sorry.
give it its full title.
Sorry, yeah, when I released the shark, yeah, that's one of my greatest hits, that. I came outside and then Aura Scalesguard, you know that woman you met earlier? She told me you'd be here, so she just kept me around for it. As you guys are talking to Squiddy, Planewalker crashes into the ocean, spraying water up so high that you're all hit by the residual waves as Squiddy holds you aloft in the air. You then see Planewalker's metal body shift into a torpedo-like form and heads straight towards Squiddy to attack.
No!
Not Squiddy. No, I will die for Squiddy.
Hey guys, I know we've only known each other for maybe 10 hours or so, but I needed to know. Do you trust me?
Yeah, we trust you, Squiddy.
To the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
Aark, you don't look so sure.
Can I roll an insight check, see if I can trust him?
Yeah, roll an insight
It's
check on
Squiddy,
Squiddy.
Aark. I don't trust you now.
I rolled a natural 1.
So you're like, who are you? Have we met?
Who's this guy? You see that Squiddy looks at all of you like a captain who has resigned himself to going down with his ship, and with a free tentacle salutes you all and says, "Today, the front man of Squiddy and the Humanoids leaves the band. It's been really nice knowing you all." And he launches you out of his tentacles, out towards the Seraclean Ocean, hundreds of feet away from the chaos. As you fly through the salty sea air, you hear Planewalker's bellowing roar as he bites into Squiddy's orangey flesh, and you see thick ink clouds engulf the two gigantic monsters as they battle to the death below the cliff face. You see a blinding red beam of energy that explodes from Planewalker's mouth as all of your bodies hit the surface of the water like a wrecking ball slamming into concrete. Everyone make me Constitution saving throws. Zakaiya.
9.
Titus.
16.
Aark.
19.
As you hit the water, you all start to fade out of consciousness as you feel your bodies sink towards the ocean floor. And as the light from Valkanen, the life-giving star in the sky, dances through your blurred vision, with a red hue piercing your peripherals, you see webbed hands grab at your bodies as you all go unconscious. And that's it for this week's episode of Dice with Death. Thanks everybody for playing. That was great. End of the campaign one. Well done. No.
Squiddy's dead, and that's the end of the campaign.
I'm so distressed.
Go fuck yourself, listeners. Thanks. Bye. The next 20 episodes are just silence.
Yeah, we've been on long enough for a mid-roll, Ed, haven't we? Yeah, we're fine. We've got what they came for.
Yeah. You all go unconscious. Through the darkness of your minds, in a completely comatose state, you all hear a distant echoey beeping, regular in its rhythm like a metronome reverberating through your subconscious. You all start to see purples, violets, and lavender-coloured galaxies appear in front of you, millions of light years away, but vivid enough that you think for a second you could reach out and touch them. You then cast your eyes around the abyss that you're in, and you all see each other stood together, floating in space.
This is weird.
Yep.
What's going on? Where are we?
Can I roll an investigation check? Or maybe perception, whatever, just to see, trying to figure out where we are.
Roll a perception check.
So that is a 17 plus 4 is 21.
which is a very, very good perception check by all means, but not enough, unfortunately, to know at all where you are. You don't see anything around for light years. Like, you are in... It looks like you're in the middle of space, just floating around. You're all floating next to each other. You're all within like 10 feet of each other. But yeah, you're just floating in space.
What happened to Squiddy? Squiddy died, didn't he?
We didn't see him die, so let's not rule out the fact he could have survived against the killing machine that we've seen throughout our experiences together.
I've kind of tested Planewalker, and he's really powerful.
What do you mean? What do you mean you've tested Planewalker? What is that thing?
It's a weapon. It's probably one of the worst weapons in the galaxy. It's built by the Solar Navy just to bring endless death.
So, how do you know that?
Oh, I've tested it.
What do you mean? So you were with the Solar Navy?
No. I found it. It was on my home planet.
What did you test it on?
Oh, it was in the ocean. Nobody was hurt when we tested it.
Right. And then they took it, and they used it to burn my family and kill everyone that I knew and destroy everything that I loved. And probably the same for other people too. Did they hurt your family, Aark?
Just before you answer that, Aark, that's awful to hear about that death and destruction. Is that how you lost your arm? Or...
Not now, Titus! God!
Sorry.
We're in space! Squiddy's dead! I can't cope, Titus! Not right now!
In this terribly tense moment between you all, where you've just found out that you will know about Planewalker, you lament over the possible passing, of Squiddy. As you're all talking and realizing how connected all you guys all are, a marble archway fades into existence ahead of you as a floating platform rises to greet your feet. The archway fills with light particles that take the form of a stained glass window, depicting a brilliantly complex, impossible triangle. And in the middle of this shape, 3 symbols: a dark storm cloud, a brown bear cub, and a mason's anvil. Bright blue light then charges towards you all and envelops your bodies, lifting you off the platform, surging through your soul and blinding your mind's eye. The intense light then dissolves away to reveal visions involving all of you. We see a lightning bolt strike a tree on a stormy evening as Aark reaches out his hand towards it. We see a docile brown bear cub lick the wounds of a bloodied Zakaiya as she lays propped up against a tree, bleeding out on the forest floor with a severed arm. And we see the Caligavi iron anvil, the crest of the Caligavi family, being passed down generation after generation as Titus clutches it in his hands at a tribal ceremony. Electric blue arcane energy then darts between each of you as you feel yourselves get stronger and healthier.
Do we all see the visions? Are they shared visions?
You are all sharing these visions. Every single one of you is experiencing every vision that is happening right now.
Do I recognise the forest that Zakaiya is in?
Yeah, 100%. How are you all feeling at this moment in time? You've just kind of been... You've just realised some incredibly severe information about each other, and now you're being wrapped in all this blue arcane energy. Is there time for chat right now? How are you all feeling as this happens to you?
I feel like Zach is she doesn't entirely trust what Aark has just told her. She can't put her finger on why. She believes it at face value, but she's very, I don't know, there's just something that isn't adding up to her. She's also distrustful of Titus now because she associates this thing with so much evil and chaos, and now both of these people seem to know what it is. Part of her wants to believe that that's also because they've had the same relationship that she has, but she doesn't understand why Aark would have tested it, like what for, and it's all kind of going through her head, and it's a lot. So she's just very quiet and very reflective.
Feeling a little bit sheepish for being the potential face of this product that Zakaiya has just revealed, destroyed her entire family and homeland. So maybe keep stum for a little bit, Titus.
Aark he recognises the forest, so I think he is beginning to realise what Zakaiya means, or what the impact of that is.
Everybody go ahead and roll me a perception check. Aark.
8.
Zakaiya.
14.
Titus.
13.
As the surging energy around you peaks, you glance back at the marble archway, and for a split second, you could swear that something was watching you all.
Ooh.
The light around you explodes as you all fade away back into the darkness, and all you hear are the distant echoey beeping you heard before, pulsing in rhythm with your heartbeats. The visions that you've have faded, and you all kind of return back into your comatose states. Aark and Titus, you both awaken in a metal-clad medical bay, surrounded by people, and you feel like you have the biggest hangover you've ever felt raging in your head. At this moment in time, Titus, congratulations, you have leveled up to level 2. Very well done.
Yes!
Woohoo!
And Aark, you are now level 3. Very
Yeah.
well done. We said at the end of the last episode we were going to level all you guys up. Zakaiya, we will get to you in a minute, but first of all, Aark and Titus, you both hear people hurrying around you through like the blurred vision of you waking from this comatose state. If both of you could roll me perception checks, please. Aark.
14.
Titus.
Well, that streak had to end someday. 6.
You can't quite tell what they're saying. It's kind of it's muffled. You're just coming round out of a coma, which you don't know how long you've been in for, but your legs are completely stiff and you can't move your arms, and you're trying to get the blood flow back to your body. But through your body's hangover and pounding headache, you see the medical bay doors open, and in walks Aura Scalesguard. She wears a golden gilded turquoise combat tunic that stops where her fishtail starts, as well as a gold wreath atop her head. She smiles as if she's walking into a room filled with acquaintances and addresses you, and she says, "Gentlemen, how was the fall?"
I've had better, I'll be honest.
Yeah, the fall was okay. The throw was the bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Squiddy was quite the athlete. His service will never be forgotten, and neither will yours. She grabs your forearm for like a military handshake, Aark, and she says, "Thank you."
I'm gonna shake back and just go, was the operation successful?
Very, very successful. We stormed the port of Uji. We showed the Solar Navy exactly what we're capable of and what other nations that they disturb can do to them. But please, gentlemen, let's not talk now. Rest up. You've been out for 3 days. There's much to discuss, but I need all 3 of you conscious from here on out. She looks over to Zakaiya, who is still out cold in a coma. The crew can show you to your living quarters, or you can wait here with Zakaiya until she wakes up. You have the run of the battle sub until then. If you need anything, just ask. She looks towards both of you as if she is the most grateful she's ever been to people she's barely even known before.
I've got one more question to ask you, and what happened to Planewalker?
She sighs and she says, although it's been 3 days, we've not been able to analyze the incident area correctly. We know that nothing would have survived a blast that big. And the thing wasn't even at full power.
Did you find the body?
We didn't find much of anything.
So you don't know Squiddy's definitely dead.
And she says, come find me when she wakes up. And she points at Zakaiya. I'll most likely be on the command platform. And she turns and walks out the room, is greeted by a few of her personal bodyguards, and she walks away down the hall.
I'm going to try and get up.
Okay.
He's on his way out. It's happening.
This is where the bird boy dies. Okay. You have just come out of a coma. So this is not as easy as using your movement just to stand up. You are going to need to roll me a seriously high athletics check right now.
Do I realise that I'm in bad shape?
Oh, you know it, you feel it, but having been a military man yourself, someone who is, practical with their hands and getting involved in combat and all kinds of expeditions, you still feel the need to try and get up.
Okay, so I'm going to guide myself. I touch one willing creature, which is me. Once before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice. It can roll the die before or after making the ability check, then the spell ends. So.
Great, so you cast guidance.
So just to clarify, Aark's touching himself, yeah?
Yeah.
I was going to say it, but I thought, no, but someone did.
You're in a coma, so you can't, so it's fine.
I'm just watching.
Yeah, Titus is just lying on the edge of the bed going, what is this old birdman doing?
So I rolled. So 12 on the dice, 4 on my d4. And it's athletics. I had nothing. So that is 16.
Okay. You try to stand. You struggle with your forearms to push your torso up so you're sitting up, and you take your left leg and try and swing it over the side of the bed, and you completely fall out of bed and fall onto the floor, just not helpless, but just struggling to get up.
Can I try and get out of bed to help him up?
I will say it will much be the same, Titus. You've all just woken up from a coma.
I realise that, but I want us to all be sat around Zakaiya for when she wakes up.
Oh, okay. No, that's lovely. Okay, yeah. Roll me an athletics check. See what happens.
I know I've got a good athletics modifier, so hopefully he says before rolling. Yeah, shouldn't have done that. 9. So there we go.
Titus.
The sentiment was there.
Titus, you push yourself up with your forearms, and with your forearms break the medical bed that you're lying on, and it just collapses on the floor in a pile of dust. We cut over to Zakaiya, who is still in a completely comatose state in her own medical bed on her own. Zakaiya, the vision that you've experienced with Aark and Titus, the brilliant bright energy and the 3 symbols inside the triangle you all shared together, dissolves away, and you find yourself stood in a forest just before sunset, directly in front of your cottage on the planet of Een. You smell the damp, earthy scent of the forest all around you, as well as the undeniable smell of a succulent forest chicken stew cooking on the stove. And you see the lights are on in your house, and you think you hear someone inside. What do you do?
I'm just going to bolt, run to that house. Get there as quick as I can.
Okay. You see the house off in the distance. You're about 100 feet away from it, so you are sprinting to this house. You have not seen this house in 5 years. This is the first time it's appeared to you. Roll me a perception check as you approach your family home.
Not so good. 8.
Okay.
Not great.
You don't see anything out of place. You are just in this fright of you seeing your own house. You are legging it there. That is your focus. And you're stepping straight into the house, right?
Yeah, straight through the door, calling for my parents.
You step into the house, calling for Brenna and Lothrin Rubbledusk. You're greeted by the smell of home cooking, and it warms your soul. Even though you're in this frantic state, you can't but just take in all this lovely mother's cooking that you're used to experiencing. And you do hear light motherly chatting coming from what you know to be your bedroom.
Okay, can I go upstairs to the bedroom? Can I follow the sound?
Yeah, you follow the sound up the stairs. They creak as you move, like it's an old wooden cottage staircase. They creak so endearingly as the house ebbs and flows with the wind outside. And you see your bedroom, and the door is already open.
I mean, I'm going to creep towards the door and listen whilst sort of gently pushing it open.
Okay. You gently push the door open. It creaks. A very familiar creak that you would hear every time you walk into your bedroom. And you see your mother, Brenna Rubbledusk, 21 years younger than she would be now, sat in a fine wooden rocking chair, all wrapped in a cosy blanket, reading a children's book to a small 4-year-old half-elf sat on her lap. So, after defeating the Wildermere dragon and returning peace to the land, Rabbit and all her little friends went home for tea. The end. She closes the book, sets it aside, and scoops the 4-year-old girl up to lay her down in her bed. Now, I know I'm not the greatest singer in the world, but what about a lullaby to send you to sleep, my lovely? What are you doing at this time, Zakaiya?
Can I be honest? I'm thinking about Ollie singing a lullaby, and I'm really excited for it.
In this excitement, are you entering the room?
Yeah, I'm going to go straight into that room.
Okay.
Can my mum, I take it I can't see this memory, it's just there.
You are 100% in this memory right now. Yeah, everything is. I can't say much more unless you do something, but
okay.
this memory is all around you. So yeah, when you step in, what are you doing?
Can I try and get my mum's attention? Can I say, Mum, it's me, it's Zakaiya? You
say this, and nothing happens. She is not disturbed by any sound coming from behind her towards the door out in the house. She hasn't even heard you come in. You are in a vision, in a memory of some kind, just experiencing it in a very vivid way, through the psychosis of your mind. And the little girl nods happily and looks at your mother and kind of nods to, yeah, let's hear a lullaby. So Brenna clears her throat and ever so softly sings. Hush, my zucchini, don't you cry. Show them what it's like to be alive. In times when you are afraid, the sharpest of wits will be your aid. And when your wit won't push them back, how's about you give them a little smack? Rain or shine, through autumn or spring, be the sharpest of all and give them a sting. The melody echoes in your head, Zakaiya. You remember this lullaby from when you were a child. What do you do as the melody echoes in your head?
And just take a deep, deep breath. And can I please roll an insight check to see if there's anything else strange about this vision that I can deduce?
Roll me an insight check with advantage. This is a very vivid memory to you. So this is your memory. You get advantage on it.
Ooh, and I did get a 17. So that's 20. Not nat 20, but a 20.
Okay. You, with an insight check, in your comatose state, nothing nefarious is going on. You are just experiencing a lovely, vivid memory from when you were 4 years old. But you do, because of the melody, because of the lullaby that you've had in your head since you were a little child, you do want to hum back the melody.
Yep. I'm like not gonna fight it. I'm just gonna hum back.
Okay. Very simply, you hum this melody, and suddenly you see Brenna's head turn towards exactly where you are, and she looks as if she's looking for someone, for that sound, but she can't quite see where it's coming from or hear where it's coming from. What do you do?
I'll just sing louder. I'll just like properly sort of try to get her attention, I suppose, if she can almost hear me.
She kind of sits back down in her rocking chair, still staring exactly where you are. She cannot see you, but she starts humming back in rhythm with you. And you hum the whole tune together, and you feel this... You get goosebumps, you feel tingly, you feel warm, you feel content, you feel at home, and you wish that this was now. And what you do also hear is a really satisfying click, like an immaculately engineered mechanism working perfectly to open something very small. And as you do, you wake up in the medical bay. Aark and Titus, you see her come to from her coma. This vision that has just happened has been hours in the making. So Aark and Titus, you can all stand up from your beds, apart from Zakaiya, who is still in a comatose state. But you see her come round, and you see her eyes kind of open, and the blurred vision start to go away.
Can I cast a spell?
What spell would you like to cast?
I want to cast Lesser Restoration on Zakaiya.
That's lovely. Please tell everybody how Lesser Restoration works, please.
You touch a creature and you can either end one disease or one condition afflicting it. The condition can be blinded, deafened, paralysed, or poisoned. So as I see it, I want to have my walking stick in my hand, and I want light to kind of glow from my walking stick. And I kind of want it to kind of go up my arm and to a hand that's just placed on Zakaiya's chest.
You place your hand on Zakaiya's chest, and this radiant light emanates from your hand and warms this comatose Zakaiya, and she properly comes to. Zakaiya, you are not affected by any of the fatigue that happens with a coma. You are awake. You can sit up, you can stand up, you can jump, dance around the room like a ballerina made of wind. Told you I'd get that in again.
I forgot about that. What a metaphor.
Yeah, but you feel instantly healthier. And Zakaiya, congratulations, you are now level 2.
Woohoo!
Welcome to the Leveled Up Club, everybody. But yeah, you all awake, and you're all together in this medical bay.
I'll go and sit by Zakaiya and check if she's all right. How you feeling?
Oh, just horrendous. I can't believe Squiddy did that for us. I'm so sad. And also, my druidic focus. I left that back, and I didn't get my sign from the wood. This is the worst.
What's this sign? What's this sign all about? What were you searching for?
So when my house, my village was torched, in the rubble I picked up like what was my house sign. It had my parents' names on it. It was in dark sort of oak wood, and it hung above the door. And I picked it up and took it with me, and I've always had it. It's the last thing I have of them. So now I'm just a bit worried that I don't have anything more of them. That's the last piece of the people I love. So I really wanted to find it. I'm glad you guys are okay.
What are your parents' names?
Brenna and Lothram Rubbledask.
You don't need a sign. They're right here. And very ET, I've just realised that sounded. But my hand is still kind of glowing on her chest. So I'd say they're right here.
Thanks, Aark. How are you feeling?
I'm not feeling great.
In this moment where you're all sat together, really lost with what's happened with the possible death of Squiddy and the realizations that you've all had and trying to understand these visions. Everybody roll me a perception check.
I rolled a 9.
Zakaiya.
15.
Titus.
17.
Woohoo, yeah.
Nice.
So Aark and Titus, it's incredibly small, but you see a small recess in Zakaiya's prosthetic arm, and a wooden pin has popped open from it.
What's that on your arm, Zakaiya?
Well, I mean, it's my prosthetic arm, duh. God, we've been together for what, like 3 days now? You're always asking about it.
Has it been damaged in the fall? It's like something popped out of it.
Let me take a look. Oh, it's rattling. How weird. Yeah, like looks like something's fallen out of it. Can I do my own insight or perception check to have a look?
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Insight 14.
Oh, 14. Okay. You get the feeling that this is meant to come out, and it's not fully out yet.
Okay. Can I give it a tug?
Yeah.
Okay.
You pull on
Funny
the
you mentioned
pin.
that. I woke up and saw Aark doing something similar to that. But sorry, where were you?
Aark glares.
I look at Aark's hand and I'm like, "Where's that been? You put that hand on me."
He said he was making magic. I didn't understand.
He was brewing a potion, so I heard.
Zakaiya, you pull on the pin, and a compartment appears. In it, you see an immaculately crafted graphite black locket made from the tooth of a giant swamp bear, complete with chain. This has been in your arm, and has been in your arm since it was given to you. The locket also has a clasp on it that looks like it would easily open.
Oh my god, I had no idea this was here. I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't been rattling or anything. I'm also really glad it didn't explode when I pulled the pin. Can I, let me see if I can open it. So I try and open it.
It opens with so much ease, like a ballerina made of wind. No, I'll stop that now. It opens easily, and you find inside a rich, dark oakwood coloured splinter that pulses with arcane energy as soon as you hold it between your thumb and index finger. Zakaiya, this is your new druidic focus.
Ooh.
And I think, unless you want to roll an insight check, know exactly where this splinter came from.
I do. This looks like it's part of the sign. This is a splinter of wood from my parents' house sign, from my forest, from my home. Yeah, this is what this is. I can't believe I'm holding it in my hand.
It glows in your hand, and you feel the aura around you just become complete again. You had trouble with casting spells in the earlier campaign, but now you feel very, very whole again. But yeah, this is your new druidic focus.
Amazing. I guess I should keep it safe. I'll put it back inside the arm and clip it back in.
Yeah, it is in a locket, and the locket has a chain around it, so you can wear it around your neck, or you can keep it safely in the arm. It's completely up to you.
I'm going to put it on my neck. I feel like I need, after the death of Squiddy, my mentor. Sorry, I had to. After the death of Squiddy, and obviously the trauma of losing, not only losing something that I held dear, but, the dogs got kicked and, my friends got injured too, and we escaped Planeswalker, who I never thought I'd see again, never hoped to see again. I could use this right now. So I put it on, and I feel my spirits lift a little bit by wearing it.
Lovely. What are you all doing now? You're all awake. I will say, just as a bit of A bit of housekeeping. Aark, you can now fully fly because you have leveled up. So your fly speed is now no longer 12.5 feet. You are back up to 50 foot of flight speed.
Yeah,
your
boy.
your injury is gone. Your wings can flap to no end.
Okay.
You're all feeling much healthier after recovering from this coma. But yeah, you're all in this medical bay.
Would a coma class as a long rest, or how does that work?
It's the longest of rests.
It is the longest of rest, seeing as you've slept for 3 days. But yeah, this counts as a long rest. You've all leveled up, and in this campaign, listeners, if you level up, you are back up to full health. So you are all back again to the top.
Nice.
Update your HP, make sure you're all there, get all your spells back in order. But yeah, you're all back to the top. So you're in this medical bay. The medical staff are kind of monitoring you as you kind of get up and look around, and they're calling to let Aura know that you've woken up. But you'll remember that Aura said to Aark and Titus that to come and find her if they needed to speak to her.
Yeah, we've got to find out what's going on now, what the plan is going forward.
So have you guys seen Aura? Where is she?
Yeah, Aura came to visit when you were still under. Very thankful. Squiddy isn't necessarily dead, but let's just prepare ourselves for the fact he quite possibly is dead, because she did say nothing could survive the blast that he sort of hoid us out of the way of, basically. But yeah, she said to go and see her when we were up and about and ready to see what's happening next.
He saved our lives, all of us. We owe them to that big, cuddly mollusk.
I'm going to get a Squiddy tattoo, I think.
Yeah, me too. In Squiddy we trust. Better get it in ink, eh? Yeah.
Hey!
Yes.
So people who are fighting wars rarely make good decisions. And Aura is fighting a war with the Solar Navy. So I just think we need to be really careful, because people do not make good decisions about people like us. We're nothing to these guys. So we need to be really careful.
Okay. I understand what you're trying to say. Did she say what happened to that thing?
It's still alive.
Yeah, they haven't recovered anything, which you would assume would have happened had it been the end of the plane walker. And it's done some damage
huge.
by the sounds of things.
Yeah, how would they not find a body? Yeah, that's really, really worrying. Zakaiya goes very pale. Or just Amy Mallett coloured.
Wow, that is pale. Oh.
Translucent.
I cast Cure Wounds.
It does nothing.
I hurt myself in my confusion.
So you all get up and you're leaving the medical bay to go find Aura Scalesguard.
Yeah.
Have we make sure we got all our stuff with us, because we've got a history of leaving shit behind.
Yep.
You pick up all your belongings from the side tables that you've had. There's the great axe, there's your sword and shield, and all your equipment is very close by. So you strap all this, you strap it all together, and you leave the medical bay and you head for the command platform. And you walk into the command platform, and it is this huge circular room, which you wouldn't have a clue right now exactly where you are. But from the looks of the portholes on the side of the walls, you, or at least Aark, from your military background, you'll know that you're immediately in a battle class submarine. It's huge. It's like a modern aircraft carrier would be, but underwater. The room is filled with, huge screens with intelligence on it and radars and maps. And there are maybe 30 to 40 other merfolk and soldiers and intelligence officers in this room. Aura Scalesguard is stood right in the middle of this command platform, up on a plinth, kind of monitoring all that's happened so far and any intelligence of the Battle of Uji that's just happened, the Planewalker and Squiddy incident. And she turns around to greet you all and says, "Welcome. Thank you. I'm sure you have many, many questions, so please." And she shows you towards a kind of boardroom, a room where the blinds can be turned and the doors can be locked. So she ushers you all into the room and sits you down in the chairs. And she doesn't sit down yet, she stands. And she kind of beckons to you and says, "Questions, fire away."
I am going to go crazy and burn my final second level spell slot.
What on earth are you going to do, Jamie?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to cast a Zone of Truth.
Okay.
Oh, good thinking.
Please read Zone of Truth for the listeners.
You create a magical zone that guards against deception in a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range. Until the spell ends, a creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn then must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its throw. An affected creature is aware of the spell.
Okay, so you need a charisma saving throw from Aur, is that correct?
I actually need a charisma saving throw from everyone.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, all right.
And me too. I'm going to roll as well.
Okay. Aura got a 21.
Okay.
And Zach got 3. I feel like she's very forthcoming anyway, though.
Titus, what did you get?
18.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, God, you're rolling great tonight, Titus.
I rolled a 16, and if you rolled lower than a 14, then you are telling the truth.
Okay, so Zakaiya, in this, everything you say must be truthful, but as we know, you're very forthcoming and very good-natured. So yeah, you cast Zone of Truth on the room. She knows what you've done. She's seen this done a million times before, and she says, "Aark, I would have told you the truth either way. But please, talk to me. What is it that you want to know? I 100% want to and will tell you the truth. You have my word."
Insight check.
Okay. Roll me that insight, baby.
Ooh, 17.
You know that she will have secrets that she just cannot divulge and cannot tell. She is the head of the military head and political head of the Sericlean Ocean, of the merfolk. But in this moment, she is being truthful to you.
Did you know that Planewalker was in that warehouse?
I'm picturing Aark just like grabbing the nearest lamp and directing it in her eyes, being like, "Did you know about Planeswalker?
Swear to me!
We're not leaving till this bitch talks."
Sorry, Jamie, could you just repeat your question, please?
Did you know that Planewalker was in that warehouse?
No. As far as we were aware, the only Planewalker that has ever been built still resides on the planet of Een and was part of the Forest Gnome incident all those years ago.
I'm going to look at Zach and see how she reacts to that.
Zach's just like really quiet, really, really solemn, sort of just clearly dealing with a bit of trauma, refusing to meet anyone's eyes.
I realise in this moment that if I asked Zach what happened to her arm, she'd probably have to tell me. But you know what? I'm not going to ask her yet. She'll reveal that when she's good and ready.
He just wants us to know that he's got the power.
I also say this out loud so that everyone knows.
Yeah. I love this idea. We did this in the first episode. I love the idea that sometimes Titus literally just says things out loud. It's so funny. That moment where he was like, "Don't mess it up in front of your new friends," he says aloud.
You say this aloud while flicking your toothpick, thinking you are the smartest man in the room, even though you've said your plan completely out loud.
Zach just shoots him side eye.
I was going to say, I wonder why everyone's suddenly looking at me.
Like a private investigator noir narrating your own, narrating your own investigation. You say that.
There's just one more thing.
Yeah, you do a Columbo.
What's the plan of attack? What are we doing next? We've got to stop this thing, right?
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack here and a lot to get through. So I'll get to where we're going next. But we need some context. Mr. Hirakoshi, who I might have mentioned before to you, Mr. Moto Hirakoshi, believes there's an ancient humanoid prophecy that foresaw the mining of the blue arcane. You might have seen the blue arcane upon Planewalker, upon the exoskeleton that witnesses say happened. It has many nicknames: Nordic Frost, Blue Hue, Lagoon, but it's most commonly known as blue arcane. I don't know its scientific name, but people started mining it 6 or 7 years ago before the travel ban. Then the galactic government realized that it had something to do with the integrity of every planet's life force, so a travel ban was implemented to stop big corporations mining it, and at least that's their official statement on the matter. We believe that the travel ban was put in place so that the government could utilize the Solar Navy to mine for blue arcane all for themselves. Illegal weapons testing out in the Sericlean Ocean, the Planewalker incident on Een, and the sightings from all of you in the facility. They confirm that blue arcane is being mined by the government and therefore powering weapons like Planewalker.
I have a question. You said that the one you know about, Planewalker, is on Een. So it can't be the same one. Is there two? Is that what you're saying?
She looks up to the sky a little bit, as if she wants to believe that there aren't two, that there's only one of this thing. And she kind of says, as far as we're aware, only one has ever been completed and operational, and it is on the planet of Een. There is no way in hell that thing could have been transported galactically without anybody knowing it. My intelligence crew would have seen it. We would have seen that huge, monstrous weapon being transported to this planet. I hope to the gods that there's not two. So I can't answer that question fully. I can only hope that there's only one.
Have you heard from the Aarakocrans? They had it in their possession last.
We haven't heard anything from the Aarakocra for the last 3 months. No intelligence, no signs of anything, any communications. All of the military throughout the solar system of Parlay, we chat, we communicate. Apart from the Solar Navy, of course, they are above all of us. But we haven't heard anything for 3 months. 3 months of radio silence, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
So where are we heading now? What's the plan?
I don't know why he wants to see you three, but Mr. Hirakoshi is the greatest of allies to me and my kind, so for that I am indebted to him. And as part of my debt, I need to get you as close to him as I can. My mission was to get you into that facility, get you out, and take you as far as I can to Mr. Hirakoshi. He believes that this humanoid prophecy that foresaw the mining of the blue arcane and its manipulation by governments and higher powers, if it successfully comes to pass, he believes it would renounce the current oppressive government from power and eradicate the mind shadows.
What are the mind shadows?
Mind shadows. Silhouetted beings that plague your subconscious while you sleep, show you horrific incidences from your past of your worst hopes and fears, and make them vivid enough to think they're happening right in front of your face. That time I saw you on that sub, when you all looked a different shade of gray. You'd all experienced mind shadows then. That was what was plaguing your head. They mainly affect humanoids with intrinsic magical potential, but I believe you've experienced a mind shadow too, Titus. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a weird sort of flashback. Like you said, I felt I was almost back there.
People have met their mind shadows before and never woken up. You three are incredibly lucky to have seen your mind shadow and survived. A mind shadow doesn't just enter your head one day out of thin air. They stalk you, watch you, peer from behind the curtain of your soul, and gain intelligence about every little detail until one day they strike like a cobra fueled with venom and put your brain in a death grip. She stills herself for a moment and gathers her calm again as she shallows her breathing to lower her heart rate. A mind shadow took my mother from me. So anybody who survives a mind shadow must have a greater purpose in this life. And Mr. Moto Hirikoshi believes you three are somehow connected to that.
Have any of you guys experienced mind shadows before? I didn't want to say anything about the ship because I just thought it was a nightmare, but it was. Hell, materialized in my brain. I really thought it was real. I woke up, I felt awful. You guys looked kind of ill too, but I guess I didn't connect it. Did you guys all have the same dreams?
What happened in all of your mind shadows?
I had a memory of my home on Een, and it was pretty much exactly how I remember it, but there was a difference.
A difference?
There was a room that didn't exist in my house. A door of death. It felt necrotic. It felt evil.
And in this moment, in this mind shadow nightmare, did it pull you towards it with the feeling of happiness and joy, or outright catastrophe?
It showed me the death of my family.
She sighs, knowingly that you've experienced a mind shadow. Zakaiya has definitely experienced a mind shadow, and from the look of all three of you, she knows that whatever is going on, she has to get you to Mr. Moto Hirikoshi.
What's this Mr. Hirikoshi going to do? What does he want?
This is where it gets tricky. I don't 100% know exactly what Mr. Moto Hirikoshi wants with you three. I just know that I have to get you to him, and I can't even take you all the way. But this prophecy that he speaks of seems to involve you three somehow. Something about a bear and an iron and a storm cloud. Something, it's three kind of symbols put together. It's maddening is what it is when he will not tell me anymore. But I have to get you to him as soon as possible. We're sailing for another day, and then we will be northeast of the town of Iliad, and half a day's journey there, and we'll get you to the edge of the forest along the river of Sericles, and then you head to Iliad and find Madame Mordana, and she'll show you the way.
I saw those symbols. I saw them when we were thrown backwards by Squiddy, when we were in that strange state. I thought maybe I dreamt it, but Aark, Titus, do you guys remember? We were in like a galaxy. I saw those symbols, the bear, the storm cloud, and the anvil.
I saw it too.
I think I saw where the symbols came from. I saw a bear licking your wounds, I saw a family crest. And I'm assuming you saw that tree.
Lightning striking the tree, yeah.
Yep.
Family anvil.
Family anvil.
Family anvil.
Family anvil. Good old trusty family anvil. Never let us down. Wow, okay. So we're all somehow connected? This is just boggling my brain. I guess we just need to see what this guy wants.
Aura Scalesguard kind of looks to you all. Her eyes are wide. She still has no idea how you're connected to everything, or why you're connected to everything, or how you guys are even connected. But she now knows. She now sees the truth of what Mr. Hirokoshi was on about. She pushes and she says, "We have to sail faster. I have to get you to Mr. Hirokoshi. Day sailing, no problem. We'll do it in half a day." And she starts turning to all her intelligence officers, her commanders, and she says, "Set the coordinates." And she sets the coordinates, and you start flying towards where you need to go. In this moment, is there anything else that anybody wants to ask Aura Scalesguard before we move on?
Aura, sorry, I just wanted to ask. You seem like you've been a part of this for a lot longer than I have. Did you know about the attack on the gnome forest?
I knew that it happened. I knew that my darling, I'm so sorry that your family and your home was destroyed. I am so sorry that anybody has to go through a disaster, a terrorist attack of that magnitude. But I only know of it from intelligence. This is what I do here. I have to know everything that goes on planet to planet. And with Mr. Hirokoshi's input, I am indebted to him, and he will see right that, from what I understand, you will be able to avenge the dead in your life.
Who is Mr. Hirokoshi to you? How did you meet him?
It's a strange tale, really. I've never met the man face to face. I have only communicated with the man via radio transmission and via scrying letters. But he came to me and my people when we needed to know information, and he gave us the information. And he has provided me with everything I needed for the attack on the port of Uji. Before that, he provided much of my people with information about illegal weapons testing in our own backyard. He has been the most helpful person outside of my own race for generations. Therefore, I am indebted to him. I need to get you to him. And she turns to everybody else in the room. Coordinates are set. She's going. She turns back to you and she says, "Please stay overnight in the living quarters. Anything you need, please ask the guards, ask the staff. I must get back to my duties." And she turns to leave and walk out the room.
What do you think, Aark? Can we trust her?
Aark doesn't really know what to say to Zakaiya.
Aark, why are you avoiding me?
Yeah, Aark, what you don't know what to say. What is your demeanor and body language like in this time?
I think that he is just gonna walk out with Aura. Just follow her out.
You get up after Zakaiya talks directly at you. It's like an inquisitive child asking their parent something. And I guess, Zakaiya, how do you feel in this moment when your, I guess, adopted dad just walks out of the room to follow somebody else?
I just feel really dejected. I turn to Titus and I'm like, "Did you see that? He just ignored me. He always listens to us. Do you think he's hiding something?"
can't tell whether he's hiding something or he's doing something to protect us.
Yeah, I trusted him, but I mean, he's looked after us so far. He's been the source of wisdom when we've been backflipping and stuff. But at the same time, what did he mean about testing it? Like, why would you test it? I mean, surely you destroy it, right? Because it's a bad thing that's going to kill loads of people.
We cut over down a very militarized corridor. There are signs and placards up on the wall of previous merfolk soldiers who have fought, leaders, and Aura Scalesguard is marching down this hallway, and Aark, you catch up to her.
I'm sorry about this. It's going to sound so self-serving, but have you heard from Alec?
No. I wish I had heard more from Alec. I mean, there's been no communications from any of the Arakakra for the last 3 months or so, but before that, myself and Alec had not talked in, 5 years? It's been a long time, Aark. It's been a very long time.
How good is your arcane intelligence?
What are you getting at here, Aark? What exactly are you asking with this question?
I am going to ruffle in my bag and hold some letters, some pages that are really important to me. And I'm going to go to Aura and go, this is how me and Alec communicate. It's how we talk. What's how she talks to me, and I haven't heard from her in 3 months. Is there anything you can do? Can you track her from the other side? Can you scry? Can you do anything with these?
Are these scrying letters that she sends to you?
Yeah.
Leave me half a piece of parchment from a letter that she most recently sent to you, whichever piece of parchment it is, and I will have my team do the best damn job they can. But I can't promise anything.
I'm gonna try and rip the paper and just try and avoid all of the text if I can. I'm gonna hand it over.
Yeah, you rip a piece of this parchment off and you hand it over to her, and she looks down at the piece of parchment and she looks back up at you, deep into your eyes, puts her webbed hand on your feathery shoulder, and she says she'd be so very proud of you right now. And then she turns, takes her hand off your shoulder and walks away.
I do the same, but I think just tears kind of well in my eyes a little bit.
Okay.
When he said, although there was that moment where Aark said, I ruffle, and he was like, I ruffle in my bag, but I thought he was going to be like, I ruffle a few feathers. Like both metaphorically and physically. Causing a stink.
I'm taking command now. No.
Yeah. So the Aark, you leave Aura Scalesguard. It's what time? It's been 3 days, so it's kind of it's late on in the day. 3 days later from when you fell from the cliff. There are, it's going to be 10 or 12 hours before you get to your destination. So you guys can go to the living quarters, have a long rest. Is there anything else that any of you guys want to discuss when you meet up, when you get to the living quarters and are hanging out with each other again?
I'm just going to kind of give Aark a bit of a cold shoulder because he was really weird and evasive with me. So I'm kind of like, every time he looks at me, I'm looking at him, but then I pretend and look away. I'm sort of like trying to be sort of like evasive, but also really curious and really paranoid as to what he discussed. And if I get Titus alone, I'm going to say to Titus, what do you think you spoke to her about?
In the meantime, I'm trying to act as like the go-between between these two, because I know how upset Zakaiya is. And I know Aark is the sort of dad of the group, but I consider myself a sort of big brother. So I'm like, hey man, that really wasn't cool just walking out when Zakaiya is asking you all that stuff. And look, I totally respect if you want to keep that to yourself, but if you ever need to talk about it, you know where I am.
Is this a private moment that you're all sharing together, or is this Titus and Aark separately?
This is me with trying to put my arm around Aark, but you know, I don't think I'm making sure it's Zakaiya doesn't necessarily know that that I'm talking about her.
Okay, Zakaiya is out of earshot for this. Aark, what do you reply with in this moment?
So I'm probably in the living quarters as well, and I've probably just not put down the letters, and I've probably got them in my hand as we're talking. And yeah, I think I go to Titus and I go, yeah, I know. I've made a lot of mistakes, and that was one of them. But I don't know how, but I'm going to try and make it up to her.
You just, as long as you know, we're all here for you.
Thank you.
In this sweet, tender moment of adopted son talking to adopted dad, and Zakaiya still giving Aark the cold shoulder, even though Aark knows that he needs to put something right, maybe put quite a few things right. You all settle down for the night. You have your long rest, and you wake up. It's past midnight. It's 1 or 2 in the morning. Aura has sent a message to you all through her staff saying that to get you guys out of the way, it goes without saying that you're all wanted criminals. So things are inevitably going to get harder for you. Your faces might not be plastered all over neon billboards all over every city, but the Navy will be looking for you, and even if you slip under their radar, the bounty hunters will come. She sends a very personal message to all of you and just says, if I told you to trust no one, you'd wind up dead. So follow your gut. And she sees you off to the kind of docking bay at the side of the battle cruiser, and you load all your stuff onto this smaller metal fishing looking esque boat, which is disguised, which will take you to land. And in this final kind of farewell before the boat takes off, she says again, to reinforce the plan, follow the forest edge along River Sericly. Once there, find Madame Mordana. She'll show you the way. May the wisdom of Mother guide you all. And the boat departs. It's departing pretty slowly, so if you want to shout something to her while you're leaving, you absolutely can.
Is it awkwardly slowly when you're like, what point do we turn around? Yep, they're still waving.
She's still waving. Yeah, and your boat departs for land. You're with merfolk and soldiers, armed to the teeth, very covertly though, because this ship is disguised as a fishing ship. Under cover of darkness, it is about 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning now, and you're not docking. You're not going into a dock. This is covert to get you away from any kind of territory from the Ujian solar navy. So they swing this boat round, and the back of this boat fully flips down. The special forces, merfolk and soldiers kind of usher you out onto the greenery, onto the grass right next to the forest edge, and they all wish you the best of luck. Hop back on the boat and go.
Should probably check our surroundings.
So I am going to fly up in the air. I go 50 feet, I'll go 100 feet, and just have a look and survey where we are.
Great. So you look upon the forest edge, which is following the river of Sericly, which joins the Sericlean Ocean. And you see about a quarter of a day's travel away is a small town You see kind of smoke billowing from chimneys and lights are on, and it looks like quite a vibrant town for 2 or 3 a.m. at night. But you see the town of Iliad off in the distance with the coordinates that the soldiers gave you.
Cool. I'm going to glide back down to the party and just say, yep, Iliad is over there. It will take us less than a day to get there. It's just follow the river.
Okay.
And
All right.
anything we need to watch out for or do or not do?
It's quite dense forest that you were looking over. You see towards where the town is, and it's in a clearing. It is by the forest, but it is in a clearing. The river of Sericles runs through it, but you can't really see much on the forest floor. So you are navigating through the wilderness, so you can't see any dangers ahead.
It's really dense jungle, and if we get there and it's still the middle of the night, then maybe we should camp up outside of the town and arrive at a unsuspicious hour.
Yeah, good call.
Okay, so you're all marching on ahead?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, looks like it.
Lovely. You make your way along the forest edge, along the river of Sericles. You travel as far as you can in the time that you need, and you reckon that you'll probably need to set up camp for at least 2 or 3 hours before it's an acceptable time to enter the town. You all set up camp. No real need for you guys to have a short rest of any kind, but if anybody would like to sleep or take naps or do anything, you pitch up a fire, and you're camped out. What are you doing?
I certainly think that at all times one of us should be on watch, because this is a new place that we've never been to.
I'll say I'll take first watch then.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll go for a kip then.
So, Zakaiya and Titus, you settle down. You've got your bedrolls with you, so you roll them out under a nice sturdy tree in the leafy forest. Zakaiya, for a second, you sleeping under a tree feels really like home. Like you've slept under a tree before, pissed out of your face, like drunk and hungover. But in this moment, kind of with the starfield sky above you and your newly adopted brother and dad very close by, feels very homely. Aark, roll me a perception check.
That is a unnatural 20.
Are you serious?
It's unnatural. It's not the proper nat 20.
It's not a proper nat 20, but it is an unnatural 20. Aark, in this moment of peace, really, peace among your group, you're not really arguing. You've kind of pushed your troubles to the side, and you've got a mission to focus on. You've got to find Mr. Moto Hirakoshi. You know where you're going. You know how to get there. But you've just had to make this stop outside of the camp. And are you sat down? Are you up against a tree? Where are you keeping watch?
I think I'm not. So I'm just going to be sitting around the fire, and I'm probably going to watch as Zach and Titus kind of fall asleep or nap. And when I think that they are asleep, I'm going to shoot up. So fly up through.
Oh, thank goodness.
The canopy.
I know, I was like, don't do drugs now, man. Come on. It's not cool.
Aark gets out a little teaspoon and puts it over the fire, and a little syringe, and okay.
Straight up his beak.
Yeah, straight up. So you, as soon as they're gone to sleep, you're up into the tree and you're keeping watch.
I'm actually looking for a type of tree. I'm looking for the darkest oak tree that I can see.
Okay. You see one. From the tree that you are, you shoot to the top of this tree, and you are perched on one leg, one talon, and you see, which I think I know the kind of tree that you're looking for, a rich, dark oak wood tree, 100 feet away. probably west of your location. So the town is northeast, but you could travel west to get there.
Okay, so I'm going to fly over to that tree and land on one of the branches high up. And I'm going to pull out my short sword and carve, if I can, try and cut out a block of that tree.
Okay. You're using your weapon to do this. You are proficient with it. I just say you do this. This is perfectly fine. Not going to make you roll. You chop very lovingly, actually. You chop the top of a tree, and you being you plant the other bit in the ground because Ian is your home, and trees are your life, apart from the sky. You cut out a block of rich dark oaken wood.
So I'm going to take that and fly back just so I can watch over Zakaiya and Titus. And I'm going to use my talons, and I'm going to look at that wood, and I'm going to start to carve in gnomish. Oh, I'm going to carve in gnomish Lothran and Brenner Rubbledusk, and just I'm going to guide myself. So I'm trying to carve it as beautifully as I can with my talons.
Okay.
Guys, this has actually hit me like square in the feels. I'm like, oh, like that's why you asked about their names. Oh.
Roll me a performance check, please, Aark.
Performance, eh? Not sleight of hand.
I will performance. No, go on then. I'll let you roll sleight of hand.
Okay. That is a 19 plus 4 plus 4. So that is a 27.
A 27 on this sign. You've never seen what this sign looks like. You just know that it's made out of a rich dark oaken wood, and you kind of have an image in your head of what a gnomish sign might look like because you've lived on the planet of Ain. You've been around the gnomes before, although the higher up Aarakocrans weren't a fan of the gnomes. You have seen a few of these signs around on the forest floor. So you carve not an identical sign, but an incredibly well-made gnomish sign. You carve this sign. It's now sat in front of you. While you finish this sign and you hold it in your arms to kind of look at it as you're, how far away from Aark and Zakaiya and Titus are you right now as you're watching over them?
I would probably just be on like a low branch in a tree, just perched. So maybe like 30 foot above them.
30 feet above. Roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Ooh.
As you are currently doing a task.
That is 6.
Okay. Bear with me, everybody.
Uh-oh.
This isn't good.
No.
Zakaiya, from your slumber, you are shot from 100 feet away by a rifle. It goes off. Birds in the trees are scattered, and you take 10 damage from this single ammunition shot from 100 feet away.
That's half my health.
And that's where we'll end our session.
Shit!
What? You can't do that!
Holy fuck!
We were having a nice time making signs and getting to know each other, and surprise, motherfucker, you've been shot in your sleep!
Oh my god, I just got fucking rifled. That literally has wiped out half my health. Shit, the bed.
Thank you so much for playing today, guys. That was a real
this can't be
emotional...
I feel like I've just been rudely awoken. You know, like when you're just so completely lulled into this, like, getting to know Titus and him being the awesome big brother go-between and all this stuff happening. And I thought we'd get attacked, but Jesus. My
So
gosh.
thank you, guys, for playing with me today on that absolute roller coaster that was the Dice with Death podcast, episode 6. That, listeners, you can't see it at home, but on the Zoom call, everybody is up in arms. if you want to see just how up in arms they all were about this episode, you should follow us. And Jamie, I keep getting the social media tag wrong, so can you say it for me so I don't get it wrong, please?
It is Dice Death Pod.
Yes, that's at Dice Death Pod. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. You can also subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's episode and you want to find out more about these guys, Jamie, where can people follow you on the Twitter sphere?
You can find me on Twitter. I am Jamu1987. And
Amy, where can
I just say I'm still distraught? I'm absolutely distraught. This is how we're ending the episode.
I know. I feel like I've been shot. I think I would react better if I had been.
Amy, if people want to see your war wounds, where can they find you on the social media?
God's sake.
Okay, so I'm on Twitter at Amy_Mallett. I'm on Instagram as the very wanky at I think therefore Amy. And I've actually, by the time this will go out, we will have relaunched my own little podcast that I started independently earlier in the year, which is called My Game Fiction Addiction. So yeah, if you're into nerdy stuff in other ways and you really enjoy narrative and video games, then check us out.
Go check that out. Adam, where can people find you on social media if they want to get at you? And just tell them how pissed off they are that I ended the episode like this.
By the way, if you heard me giggling a minute ago, Jamie was just looking at me on the screen. It's because I thought for certain you were going to go, what is it again, Jamie? Dice Death Pod. Okay, so follow us on Nice Wet Pod. But anyway, you can follow me on all the social medias at Adam Wilbourn.
We'll see you next time for the thrilling conclusion of Dice with Death. Say bye, guys.
Bye, guys. You can't do this to us.
I'm bleeding out as we speak.
Jesus, came out of nowhere.